The big deck going in was Infernate. Took down all the battle roads. Before that, it was Meta Knight. We had the Evolutions deck, which I won with, did well. We had a lot of Infernate, but made top 32, but it didn't go too deep. Top 4 was I won with Evolutions. I beat Jay Hornings. It was Metagross, Pidgeot, Sizor, I believe. And top 3 had, I want to say it was Rob Downs with Rayquaza Deoxys deck, and John Silvestro had Flareados. But there was the Lucario Evolutions deck that was pretty big there as well.
So it was a pretty wet format. Dang.
Yeah, it wasn't really what we expected at all going into it. We expected a lot of Infernate.
This year?
Yeah, definitely. It'll be the same this year. I mean, there's no metagame, just like there wasn't that year.
Well, it is expected to have a lot of big fire, right? I think that's the biggest deck coming into the
hyped up.
Fire's the deck, even if you don't like it.
Yeah.
There's no tournament results to look at. Say like, oh, this is the best deck. This is what we have to prepare for. It's just a random, wide open field, and you're gonna see like the exact same thing you saw that year.
And real quick, I would like to.
Fire top 4.
I'm sorry.
So you're saying we're not going to see a big fire top 4?
Oh, I think we're definitely going to see at least 2 decks of big fire in the top 4.
I mean,
I absolutely.
They got past the top 32 apparently. So you think people?
I don't think it's going to be like that. I think Big Fire's good. Big Fire's actually solid, and it should make top 4. I mean, it's actually a good deck. It's popular and it's good.
Anyways,
I would like to shout out to Sebastian Crema playing at Canada Nationals. I just wanted to actually mention that real quick. You were going to say, Kyle?
What a dork. He made you say that?
No, I just wanted to say that real quick. I remember Canada Nationals. That's the big tournament that's coming up before you.
Big tournament.
All right. Anyway, what I was gonna say is, in theory, Donphan Machamp makes sense. You're like, oh, the Earthquake hurts your bench, and then the Machamp takes the fighting energy off it, and then it does more damage. But no, it doesn't work. I mean, you just don't get a consistent deck out of that. You can't get a stage 2 and a stage 1 in this format. There's no Uxie like we had before. There's no Claydol. What you're gonna find is that deck's probably just gonna crap out on you a bunch of times. So, will a few of them do well? Yeah, that's probably inevitable. But, is it a top deck? I doubt it.
Alright, pretty sure continue.
One thing with that is, before we wrap this up, is the Machop has 2 retreat costs, which is really awkward with trying to have a fast aggressive Donphan. And one of the things I did, I started adding in, you have to run Cleffa as a fallback plan just because of the inconsistency of the draw we have, and you end up killing those. So, so there's a bit of lack of synergy there, and that backfires a bit. So it's just kind of fun. It's not bad, but next question.
Great point. And that's why I use the one retreat T-Pig. Anyways, next question is actually from David Coleman, the third. That's real cool guy. We love him a lot here at the Top Cut.
Yeah, that's his profile picture right now.
Is it actually profiled? I knew he added it.
Yeah. I was talking to him when he did it. It was funny.
Alright, he says, I've got a question for you guys. Now that we're going to be seeing more Stage 2 decks being used, do you see any type of spread decks being viable for Nationals? Maybe in combination with Jirachi and Signature X. I'll answer that one real quick. I don't think the format is good enough for spread. I think you're looking at a one-hit KO format with trying to race for prizes, and it's just too slow. And not only that, but you really don't have a good attacker. So that's the worst part. So I personally don't believe it. I could be proved wrong, but I really doubt it.
It also gets reamed. The only spread thing that I can think of is Q-Tar, and that gets reamed by Donphan hard. So
yeah, you need something like on Mega to counter the Donphan, or else you just fail.
Yeah, I mean,
it blocks the damage from the spread, so Donphan probably just mows it over.
Yeah, it's like it turns into like a really clunky on Mega deck versus Donphan, and Donphan will win that. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. The only spread's Q-Tar, and Fighting Weak, no good.
Yeah.
Pokemon just have too much HP these days.
So we're saying no, right?
Yeah.
Well, I want to say, I think there actually is a big potential for spread decks, just there's no Pokemon that can do it. every deck's running, like, every stage 2 deck's running 4 rare candies and, like, super dependent on it. But you just don't have anything besides Tyranitar to spread.
There will be, next set.
There's that Kyurem guy.
Yeah, that's no Spintail. It does 3 across.
I think the other problem is stuff like Reshiram and Zekrom that actually get stronger if you hurt them. You can't actually spread against those things; they just kill you. So I think that's a big problem too.
Sure,
Not gonna be pretty.
That's what Krim does.
You can just play. You can just put down 4 defenders and be good.
All right. So the next question: do you guys think Lost Star is a viable option for U.S. Nationals? That's from Paul Sponsler.
I'll take this one. I think Lost Star is definitely a better deck than last format. I mean, there's no trainer lock to stop the gems from ever coming into play, so there's no hard counter. It's tough to say. Going first, there's a huge advantage in this format, so if it does go first, if it starts a Mew Prime, if it sends a Gengar to Lost Zone and starts going right away turn 2, sure, it's a great deck, but if it goes second, it doesn't get a great start, your opponent's discarding Pokemon with Junk Arms, it's not nearly as good as it is going first. And you'll see everything's playing like 4 Junk Arms. It's pretty easy to discard all your Pokemon, so the Mew Prime really has to run off Seekers and get lucky hitting stuff with the Spiritomb. I just don't see it being very consistent and good enough to win in the long run. I like to have like a draw Pokemon. It doesn't have that either. You're relying on like a hard Twins count maybe. And yeah, I don't think it's very consistent.
Do you think the only way to run that Lost Star is with the Mew Prime?
I think it's the most viable way.
Okay.
I'll chime in. I tried running it without Mew, and I put in a bunch of defenders, but it's very inconsistent, and lots of times you hit it, you just get knocked out anyways. And one of the main problems I always had was Rayquaza Deoxys Legend. So even if you were able to start Lost Zoning, if they were able to get out Rayquaza Deoxys and you have no way of countering it, damaging it, they can easily take 4 prizes in 2 turns, and your plan of taking at least 6 or 7 turns Lost Zoning is just not viable. You just lose outright. So I really don't see Lost World working too well when Emboar Zone is going to be so big with Rayquaza. You have Donphan taking a prize every single turn on a Mew and playing so few cards and 4 Junk Arm. So the biggest decks already have, a very, very easy matchup against, Lost World. So I just don't see it doing too well.
So it kind of comes down to the same thing as spread, right? Where spread's just too slow and so is this. You're just not taking advantage of the fact that this format's all about taking prizes right away. This format's all about trying to win like on turn 8 instead of, trying to drag the game out and everything because you just can't. This Pokemon Reversal's too popular, Plus Power's too popular.
Yeah.
You're going to get outraced. So that's kind of the same issue with Lost Star, right?
Just too.
The time limit, 30 plus 3 really cuts down on it. Like I played Lost Star at regionals and got 33rd, but I figured if I made the cut, I would have won with it. Because all that made the cut was Valgar and Luxcomp, and has pretty good matchups against them. But with this new format, it's really clunky, and it's really hard to lost 6 Pokemon in 30 minutes. Turn to win.
Okay.
You can't double drawer and Seeker. You have to twins and then Seeker.
Yeah.
So you can't do it.
It's just too slow.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
I've had slightly differing results. I've actually found Lost Star to be really strong. Some of the local guys have been testing it, and I know a couple of them are going to be running it at Nats. And I'm liking the build. I don't really feel like I should go ratting out their deck list and everything, but even before they built something, like, I was having pretty good results with it. The only thing that keeps me from feeling like it would be Tier 1, I think it's actually significantly better than last year, and I know for the Professor Cup, it's not much of a format, but it's one of my front runners for what I want to use for that. And I think even when you add in the rest of the types and such that would normally be restricted, it's still good. But you run into 2 major problems that take it from what I consider to be mid to high Tier 1 and drop it down to either Tier 2 just unplayable, because you can't beat Rayquaza Deoxys unless you snipe one of them with Hurl into Darkness early, which has happened, and you can do that. But other than that, it's going to beat you. And the other thing is, I still don't like it's 2 out of 3 play. Like, it's sudden death issues. I think 30 plus 3, you can just get it done. I'm not too concerned about that, but it's still got bad time issues in Top Cut, and if I wanted to win nationals with it, I don't think there'd be the deck. So, other than that, it's good.
Ryan, have you stopped trying to fix your camera, or?
Me?
No, Ryan.
Yeah, he looks fine on. All of them look fine on my camera.
Nah,
Fine.
it's still trying to load. Try like reloading it.
I can see Ryan just fine.
Yeah.
I can see everybody.
It's just on Michael's screen.
Well.
But
the one that
we'll
matters.
work on them.
Yeah.
We'll work on those in the background. All right. The very next question is from Isaiah Middleton.
Can I answer?
Yeah.
Too bad, Kyle.
If you would like to beat a dead horse, go ahead.
All I want to say is, if you go first, that Mew Lost Guard deck, it's pretty solid. If you go second, you lose like every game. That's my problem with it.
Hey,
If you don't go first, you're like way behind.
That's like an under 50% win percentage. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, pretty much it's too slow. Can't really keep up with the format.
It's too slow if you go second.
Yeah, correct. And if you go first, it's okay, meaning you know more than half the time you're going to be too slow for the format.
Yeah.
What's up?
Go first and start with the Mew, you might win.
Yep.
Yeah, beat Chris Bianchi, and you might win with the Isaiah Middleton asks, do you guys think Magnezone is starting to become a staple card to include in Stage 2 decks, similar to Pidgeot and Fire Red, Leaf Green, just to catch up with other decks and remain consistent? On top of that, do you think Magnezone's price will continue to rise? And this one's actually going to Drew Holden due to special request They're asking you to be the front runner for answering questions because they value your input a lot.
They like the game.
Omar? That's definitely
Yeah, that was
Omar. As far as price keeps going up, probably going to keep going up until something better comes out. I mean, it's in the most hyped up deck right now, Inborn Magnezone, so the price is going to keep rising. In terms of adding it to Stage 2 decks, there's really not any other choice. So you're going to have to add something to be more consistent. The draw power is just horrible right now. I really think you need to play a Ninetales or a Magnezone type card in your deck to be, if you want to win. And if you're not playing Fire, you're not going to play Ninetales, so you're going to throw in Magnezone to be consistent. So maybe you will see some of that. I know I was testing for his Mondeck. He actually had a 101 Magnezone line in his Samurott deck just to be consistent. And it worked decently, but, I mean, it's not the most synergy. It doesn't have the most synergy, but you got to play something, you know?
Okay. Anybody else? Okay. Well, what I'm going to say about this...
I totally forgot the question. What was it?
Okay. Do you think Magnezone is starting to become a staple card to include Stage 2 decks?
Sorry, guys.
Pidgeot and Fire Red Leaf Green?
Who's that going?
That's Ryan.
That's probably Ryan.
We're back.
I think it's a lot tougher to get into play than Pidgeot was, and it's not as good as Pidgeot was, so I don't think that's going to happen. But the price will definitely rise,
Yeah, that's what
just because it's like a featured Pokemon in so many top decks. I mean, there's no avoiding it. And it's like the only draw card outside of Ninetales, which only works in Fire decks. So yeah, that's going to be the most expensive card for a long time.
I personally think it works well. I'm sorry?
What do you think it'll sit at price-wise?
It'll probably be a $50 card.
It's already selling that. It's already.
It's at around 40, right?
It's already 40, yeah.
Yeah, I think it'll be a $50 card. I think
And that's probably going to be like 70.